Hello and welcome to this channel. In this video, we are going to look at functions. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing for more math lessons. So here is the exam question on functions. So the function g and f are defined as g is such that x maps onto x minus 1 over 2 and f is such that x maps onto 3x minus 5. Find the inverse of the function g of x. So whenever you see this, the function raised to the power -1, it means they are asking you to find the inverse. So the first step that you're going to do, so we are looking at part A. The first thing that you are supposed to do is to rewrite this function g of x. Now where there's g such that x, you're going to replace with y, and then where there's this arrow, you're going to replace with an equal sign. So you're going to say y is equal to x minus 1 over 2. So here, you've replaced this with y. Okay. Next, swap the variables. So swap x and y. What does it mean? We mean where there's y, you are going to put x, and where there's x, you're going to put y. So you have x here where there's y is equal to, where there's x, you're going to put y minus 1 over 2. Okay. Next, aim at making y the subject. So make y the subject of the formula. So make y the subject. So when you look at the left-hand side of this equation, you have x, and x can be written as x over 1, so that you have fractions on both sides. So at this point, you are going to cross multiply. So cross multiply. So you are having x times 2 will be 2x. Will be 2x is equal to 1 times y minus 1 is y minus 1. Okay? So remember, your aim is to make y the subject of the formula. So your aim is to make y the subject of the formula, meaning this guy, the other number, the other term has to be removed from this side. Okay, so you have -1. How are you going to remove -1? You're going to remove -1 by adding a 1, by additive inverse, so that when you say -1 plus 1, this becomes a 0. So what you've done on the right-hand side of this equation, you also do the same on the the left-hand side. Okay, so here on the left, you are going to remain with 2x plus 1. So you have 2x plus 1, okay, is equal to, now you have y, because -1 plus 1 is a 0. So you have y. So you have made y the subject of the formula. So you just have to conclude and say, therefore, the inverse of the function g of x is equal to this. Okay, is equal to 2x plus 1. So this is the inverse of the function g. Okay, so at B, they want you to find the value of x if the function f of x is equal to the function g of x. So in other words, where there's f of x, we are going to replace the function f of x, this one here. Okay, so f of x is this function, so you have 3x minus 5 is equal to, the function g of x is this one here, so we have x minus 1 over 2. Okay, so remember the aim is to find what the value of x when these two functions have been equated. So when you look at the function on the right is a fraction and this one on the left is not a fraction. So we need to make this function on the left to be a fraction, and it can be written as over 1. So again here we are going to cross multiply. Okay, so we are going to have 3x minus 5 times 2 is going, we can write it as 2 times 3x minus 5. So 3x minus 5 is equal to 1 times x minus 1 is x minus 1. Like that. Okay, so the next step is just to open the brackets or to expand this. So 2 times 3x is 6x minus 2 times 5 is 10 is equal to x minus 1. Remember, your aim is to find the value of x. So at this point in time, you are going to collect like terms together, but we're going to do it step by step. So your aim is to find x. So meaning here on the left, aim at remaining with a term that has the variable that you want to find, x. So meaning the other term has to be removed. We're going to remove it by additive inverse as well. So this is negative 10. For us to remove it, we're going to add a 10. So what we've done on the left, we do the same on the right, so that the equation remains balanced. And also when we say negative 10 plus 10, this becomes a 0. So here we are going to have 6x. This becomes a 0 is equal to x minus, so here we're going to have x. Then negative 1 plus 10 is positive 10. I mean positive 9, sorry, it's positive 9. Okay, again now we continue collecting like terms together. So let the x again go on their own on one side. So this is positive x. For us to remove positive x, we are going to subtract x on both sides, so that this becomes a 0, and then here we are going to remain with 6x minus x is 5x. Then this becomes a 0 is equal to, then we are going to remain with 9 here. Okay, then to find the value of x, finally divide both sides of this equation by 5. Okay, so x is equal to 9 over 5. You can leave it like this, or you can write it as a mixed number. So x is equal to, how many 5s are in 9? It's 1, remainder 4 over 5. So you can write your answer like this, or like that. See, you are being asked, so at part C, you are being asked to find the composition function of the inverse of the function g of x of f of x. So now what does this mean? This means that this function here can be written as the inverse of the function g in square brackets f of x. Okay, so now what does this mean? What does this mean? This means that this function here, f of x, the one that is on the right, on the far right, is going to be inside the function that is on the far left. In other words, this function is going to be inside this function g, the inverse of g of x. So now this can be written as the inverse of the function g of x. Now, what is the function f of x? What is the function f of x? F of x, we found that f or we are given that f of x is this function here, 3x minus 5. So here you are going to replace the function f of x, which is 3x minus 5. Okay, now at this stage, just as I said earlier, I said this function is inside the function or the inverse of the function g of x. So what it means is that in this function, the inverse of the function g of x, wherever there's x here, you are going to replace, or you're going to substitute 3x minus 5. Wherever there is x in the function, in the inverse of the function g, in this case here, you are going to replace the function 3x minus 5. So what it means here is, so I'm writing this 2, so I have 2 here. Then I'm opening the brackets where there's x, I'm opening the brackets like this. Then there's a plus 1 here, so plus 1. So in the brackets here, I'm going to replace this. So 3x minus 5. 3x minus 5. Then here you expand, or you open the brackets. So 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Then there's a plus 1 here, so you just drop it, plus 1. So here you collect like terms together. So 6x, negative 10 plus 1 is negative 9. So you conclude and say, therefore, the composition function of the inverse of g of x of f of x is equal to 6x minus 9. So this is the answer, the required answer. So this is the required answer, sorry. So this is how you solve any questions involving composition functions. For more understanding on composition functions and inverse functions, please watch the video that is showing on the screen right now. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please subscribe. See you in the next video. Goodbye.